The French President Emmanual Macron and US President Joe Biden have presented a united front at their joint media conference ahead of the official state dinner this evening. The fallout over the AUKUS submarine agreement didn't rate a mention as the two leaders focused on the war in Ukraine and electric car subsidies. Our Sky News Washington correspondent Annalise Nielsen joins us live now. Annalise, the leaders addressed one disagreement though, didn't they?
Look, one disagreement in public. We can assume there were some grievances aired in private. There's been a few different meetings between President Joe Biden and French President Emmanuel Macron over the last few days, but AUKUS did not rate a mention at all. There was one reference to just past disagreements, but the one in front of them today was about electric car subsidies. Now, this has been a particular issue with the Inflation Reduction Act because what this has done is create subsidies for US car manufacturers. They want to drive up the number of manufacturers in the United States, but the French have perceived that as at the expense of European manufacturers. Now, there's been some issues with the drafting of it, and the Americans have said that they will look at that again. In particular, Joe Biden says that this was his legislation, but that doesn't mean that there's not room for improvement.
The United States makes no apology, and I make no apology since I wrote it for the legislation you're talking about. But there are occasions when you write a massive piece of legislation, and that has almost $368 billion for the largest investment in climate change of all of history. And so there's obviously going to be glitches in it and need to reconcile changes in it. For example, there's a provision in it that says that there is an exception for anyone who has a free trade agreement with us.
Laura, the other issue, of course, is the war in Ukraine. Both leaders have been in lockstep around the response from NATO allies, in particular, in dealing with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. But one of the issues that the French were concerned about was whether the US would be pulling back on aid to Ukraine, in particular with Republicans set to take control of the House of Representatives in US Congress. It's there that they want to audit the money that's been going to Ukraine. The Republicans' concern is that that money may have been landing in the wrong hands. But this is also flagged about potential cuts to future spending. And so this is where the French have sought assurances. Emmanuel Macron has said that he's confident the US will remain a strong supporter of Ukraine.
I think it's extremely important to have you so much committed. So I'm confident because I think your people and your representative do endorse and understand this objective.
Now, Laura, the hottest invite in town is to this state dinner, the first of the Biden administration. It should be underway shortly, just outside the White House. They have a specially heated tent for this frosty winter weather. The theme is red, white and blue to match the flag colours of both nations. And if you want to take a look at the menu, they're not going to be left hungry tonight. The menu is going to have a calotte of beef, shallot I should say, triple cooked butter potatoes, sunchoke and creamed watercress with a red wine reduction, also butter poached Maine lobster, American Ostera caviar, delicata squash raviolo and tarragon sauce, along with a selection of American cheeses, which I'm sure will be to the very high French standards.
I think so. Not exactly street food there, Annalise. Thanks so much.